Join us on the program right now from the Washington Examiner. I know which one I would find worse. Ashe Schow. Ashe, thanks for coming on the program this afternoon.
Hey, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And I've got to thank you, along with Radley Balco and everybody else who has been writing about the Shaneen Allen case, Charles Cook from National Review and the editors. We now have, Ashe, the first story that I've seen from the left on Shaneen Allen. Think Progress wrote something about this today after the left was, I think, chided into covering the story.
Oh, yeah, I specifically mentioned them in my article. I mean, I doubt that, it was most likely Radley Balco, his tweet yesterday where he actually tweeted out saying the number of mentions of Shaneen Allen at Salon, Alternet, MSNBC, The Nation, Daily Kos, Think Progress, Media Matters, Slate, and Gawker, 0. I mean, I even found that Think Progress has written about, the high rate of African Americans in crime statistics in the past, and yet, they haven't written anything about Shaneen Allen's story, and her case really started in October of last year, so they've had all this time, and I guess it wasn't until Balco called them out on it that I guess we should say something.
Yeah, and of course, I think Progress has taken the stance of, well, this isn't really about right to carry. The right is used to this to advance the right to carry case. This is really about mandatory minimums. Actually, I think the case more than anything is about Shaneen Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it has to be. I mean, certainly we can talk about broader issues, but I think Shaneen's story and what's happening to her, the fact that this woman could be facing at least 3 years, as many as 10 years behind bars for, again, a nonviolent crime, a crime that didn't harm anybody, something that she was truly unaware that she was doing was illegal. She volunteered this information to police officers. This same prosecutor, Ashe, recently told the Baltimore Ravens' Ray Rice, you get to go to pretrial diversion. Even though you knocked your fiance unconscious, we're not going to charge you with third-degree assault. You can avoid prison. Same prosecutor, same DA.
That's insane. I mean, how do you throw the book at a young mother but completely, let a millionaire football player go? I can see, I mean, as I say that, I understand why, but it is absolutely disgusting. And, I mean, from what, NRO wrote about this was saying that, McLean, he could have declined to press charges. He could have treated it as a misdemeanor. He could have, recognized that she was guilty of little more than an innocent mistake. He could have permitted her to enroll in divisionary programs that New Jersey has established for peaceful first-time offenders. I mean, he could have, done any of these things, and it wasn't a mandatory minimum. I mean, he sought the maximum punishment for her right off the bat. I mean, I'm sure your listeners are aware of the story that she had been robbed a couple times in 2013. She feared for her and her children's life. She has 2 young kids. And so she bought the weapon. It was a .380 Bertha Thunder, and to protect herself, she's driving in New Jersey. She has a legal concealed carry permit in Pennsylvania. Didn't know that wouldn't be enough in New Jersey. That because it was issued in Pennsylvania, that New Jersey didn't accept it, and that New Jersey is one of 20 states that doesn't recognize it. I mean, how honestly is she supposed to know? And you can say, well, if you're going to own a gun, you should know all the laws in all the states around you. But, I mean, do they really expect innocent people who mean no harm to anyone else, to be that aware of the laws?
What's really interesting, Ashe, is that, and I didn't realize this, but in talking with Shaneen's attorney, Evan Knappen, he says ignorance of the law is actually a valid legal defense in New Jersey, and so that's one of the things that he will be arguing. But also, when Shaneen Allen was pulled over, New Jersey, he says, was in the midst of a 6-month gun amnesty, where if you had illegally possessed a firearm, or you were illegally possessing a firearm, then you could turn that in, and no harm, no foul would come to you. But if you Again, if you're Shaneen Allen and you tell the officer, hey, I'm a concealed carry holder and I have my gun, then you could be facing 10 years. So there are a lot of issues, I think, that Evan Nappen can raise if and when this case goes to trial. But as you say, any rational person looking at this case, I think, comes to the conclusion that justice is not going to be served by seeing Shaneen Allen go to prison for years, seeing her kids lose her mom, her lose the ability to provide for her family, over something that again, it's not like Shaneen Allen was planning on committing a violent crime. She made a mistake. She owned up to it. And I don't know the person who would say that's worth prison time, other than this prosecutor.
Right, and then you look at, we're going to send this mother who has no previous record. You talk about, overcrowding in prisons and sending, non-violent felons or criminals in, and you're going to throw her in there, for 3 to 10 years? What's going to happen to her while she's in there? She's going to have to survive somehow, and again, not a dangerous person. I just don't see, as you pointed out, how a reasonable person looks at this and thinks that this is an accurate response.
So here's the next question for you, Ash. And again, a tip of the cap to Think Progress for writing about this. Do you think we'll actually see now other left-leaning websites talk about the Shaneen Allen case, since perhaps they found a way to do it without discussing the gun control laws in New Jersey in a negative way?
I think they're going to have to, because, from now on, I'm going to be watching them and seeing who brings this up. It's already embarrassing that they haven't this so far, but, I'll keep looking. I'll be doing searches for her name every single day to see, and, every so often write that, why aren't they talking about this article? Her name's gotten big enough to where they should.
I think so. And like I said, I really appreciate you covering the story, and look forward to talking to you again. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Ash, yeah, my pleasure. Ashe Schow joins us from the Washington Examiner here on NRA News, Cam and Company.